think we can move past the breadth of dogma and look to the depth of truth. So while you're stuck in a corner, there's a rope hanging that's just within reach if you jump up and grab it.
Ask a question, but don't you mention you know more than them.
So today I want to focus on meaning and how we find it in our lives. So in order to do that today, I want to try and differentiate between purpose and meaning in life. So purpose would be your objective, your what, and meaning would be the reason or your why. So in purpose, think what, in meaning, think why. So in the morning, I get up and go on a run, and that's my purpose, and the meaning is to be healthier. Or with a bow and arrow, you pull the arrow back in the bow, and the purpose of doing that is to hit the bullseye. But the reason why you do that is to win the competition, or to practice for hunting, or maybe to prove something to myself that I'm a good archer. And so as you can tell, like with purpose and meaning, is that it's not cut and dry. It's not super easy to differentiate between the two. And both meaning and purpose can be perceived, but they can also be imagined. So what I want you to do is when you think about meaning, think depth. So if there's something deeper to something that you have in your life, that you do in your life, that you believe in your life, whatever. If there is something deeper, then that is the meaning. Otherwise, it's just the purpose. So it's probably not any clearer for you, but I had to get that out of the way before we talk about what we want to talk about today. So here we go. Okay, so let's imagine, or some of you might not need to imagine, but let's say you are in a loving, committed, healthy, monogamous relationship, okay? And you are given the opportunity to know whether or not your spouse, your partner, is cheating on you. Would you want to know if your partner was cheating on you? I assume that you answered yes to that question, because I would. And I think if you're watching this channel, then you probably would, for reasons I'm going to explain now. So ask yourself, if you answered yes to that question, why would you willingly throw away what was a healthy, meaningful relationship to you? If you were enjoying life, if everything was going smoothly in your life, why would you throw a wrench in everything, disrupt it all, to know if your partner was cheating on you or not? And I know there are a lot of surface level answers to that, but I think at the root of it, you're looking for something that is real and something that is true. And you're willing to throw away something that used to bring meaning, that used to be so valuable to you. You're willing to throw it away because it's not true and it's not real. And even though it brought meaning, even though it had given your life so much, you wanted it to be fully real and fully true. And so you're willing to sacrifice it all for truth and for realness. So when you raise your hand in a romantic relationship and say, I want to know the truth, I want to know if my partner's cheating or not, I assume that you're also a person that would do that in life in general, that you're looking for truth and for realness. I don't know if generations past have felt differently. I'm not an anthropologist. I don't study, human behavior in society. But it feels like there are more people now looking for truth and realness than in generations past. That we are seekers of that truth now more than ever. Or maybe they always wanted that truth but didn't really have access to the information. I don't know. All I know is that it just seems like there are more people today looking for truth and realness over comfort and utility. So where do you go to find meaning in your life? Think about that for a second. And if you struggle to come up with an answer, you're not alone. There are experts all over that are saying that we are in a meaning-making crisis, a sense-making crisis. That the meaning that many of us drew from that well is kind of dried up. Traditionally, we've gone to universities for knowledge, and we still pretty much do that. But in the past, we've traditionally gone to churches and other spiritual communities for wisdom. But a lot of these organizations aren't providing the wisdom that they used to. Instead, they are asking for your allegiance to the beliefs that they hold. So instead of wisdom, we're getting demands of allegiance to divisive dogma, not wisdom. And it is that failure to provide wisdom that is giving rise to a phenomenon that people are calling the rise of the nuns. Not N-U-N-S, but N-O-N-E-S. The rise of the nuns. 45% of millennials consider themselves unaffiliated when it comes to religion. And on top of that, 45% of millennials that are unaffiliated religiously. Anecdotally, I know that there are thousands of Mormons that are still affiliated with the Mormon Church but don't believe in the core doctrine of the church. They're just there for community or tradition or something else. And so they're not really finding the meaning there. They're there for something else. What I'm trying to say is I think we are seeing an exodus from these communities because we're looking for truth and realness above mere utility, above the comfort that these organizations used to provide. We're looking for truth and realness. And that is causing the meaning crisis. And now before you sign off if you're still religious, I totally respect that. I'm not saying that your church cannot provide meaning to you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it is failing millions of people, but it's also helping millions of people. And if you are a member of a church and you still go and you still find deep meaning, I love that for you. And I mean that in the most sincere way. All I'm saying is that you should also be concerned that millions of people are also finding churches lacking in the ability to provide meaning and wisdom and depth. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't find meaning. I really mean that if it works for you, I love that for you. But in cases like mine, where meaning was not found in these organizations, we've gone through or are going through some sort of meaning, a lack of meaning, and some people call it a crisis. I don't know if everyone would agree that it's a crisis, but we're going through something, a lack of meaning. Now, while I do feel like a lot of us have that feeling that we've painted ourselves into a corner, and we don't know where to look, or we don't know where to go. We're stuck. But, I mean, I don't have any answers, but there are people out there talking about interesting things, and I wanted to bring up some of the things that I've heard recently that address the meaning crisis, or this lack of meaning that we're having. And so as you feel like you painted yourself into a corner by deconstructing and removing yourself from institutions you feel are not true or not real. While you can't move laterally, you can't look at the breadth of the situation, you can look at the depth. The depth, I think we can move past the breadth of dogma and look to the depth of truth. So while you're stuck in a corner, there's a rope hanging that's just within reach if you jump up and grab it. So one of the people out there that's talking about this is the author Arthur Brooks. And I haven't read his most recent book that he co-wrote with Oprah Winfrey, but I've read one of his other books. But anyways, a lot of people consider him some sort of like happiness guru, like he's got the formula to happiness. And I don't know about that, but he has a lot of interesting things to say. And one of the podcast interviews that I listened to recently, he said that there are 3 concepts within meaning: cohesion, significance, and purpose. Getting cohesion in your life means that there's like a sense of unity and cohesiveness in the way that you act, in the way that you speak, in the way that you carry yourself, so that you're not one person in one scenario and another somewhere else. And so one way that you could look at this is, do your spending habits align with your values? Do you overconsume based on what you believe and value in life? I share that one because my consuming habits do not line up with my values. The next one is significance. And so feeling that your life has significance, meaning like you are doing something that's making a difference. You matter. You are participating in making your own life better, someone else's life better. You're contributing to your own well-being and the well-being of others. You're part of something bigger. You're part of a greater good. That's what significance is. And then last is purpose. And purpose is pretty straightforward. Hey, how's it going? No, you're okay. I'm making a video and I can always reshoot, so don't worry about it.
Okay. You've got the right time of day. Those
right?
look a lot better right now than they will when the sun comes up.
I agree. Hey, puppy.
Are you doing it for a YouTube channel? Or?
Yeah. Yep, it's called Just Another Runner.
Oh, I've seen that YouTube channel.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Anyways, purpose is pretty straightforward. It's just having clear objectives, a clear idea of what you want to do in life. And so those are the 3 points that Arthur Brooks presented that make up meaning. You know, take it for what it's worth. Viktor Frankl wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning, and so it wouldn't be a video on meaning if I did not include a quote from Viktor Frankl. And for those of you who don't know, he's a Holocaust survivor. And he said that we should stop asking life what its meaning is and let life ask us. And he said that our answer must consist not in talk and meditation, but in right action and right conduct. Life ultimately means taking the responsibility to find the right answers to its problems and fulfill the tasks which it constantly sets for each individual. Now, I don't claim to have any answers, but I think Viktor Frankl was channeling his inner mindfulness when he said what he said. So what I think is, if we can look for purpose, significance, and cohesion in our lives, but also understand that being mindful of what we're doing day to day and finding meaning in that mindful practice of, chop wood, carry water, like the laundry, mowing the lawn, weeding the garden, driving to work, taking care of your kids, taking care of an elderly parent. That's where meaning is found. Not in some grand accomplishment reaching the top of Everest. But that's just my initial rant on sense making and finding meaning in life. I'm sure I will talk about this many more times, but those are some things that have been kind of bouncing around in my head and I wanted to share them. So if you thought this was interesting, let me know in the comments, like the video, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope this is a conversation starter for you with someone in real life. So thanks for watching.